Did you know there are pistols worth as much as a luxury car? Yet most people outside the collector world have no idea why they're that expensive. Sometimes the price isn't just about metal and mechanics. It comes from handcrafted detailing, rare materials like Damascus steel or even meteorite, limited digital serials that only a few dozen people in the world own, and the history or reputation tied to the gunsmith's name. In this video, we're going to break down every layer of it, from uncommon techniques and meticulous hand-fit processes to the artistic and collectible aspects, and you'll be surprised to learn. Some of these guns don't just shoot, they hold value like actual works of art. Beretta 92FS Fusion. A closing act that's incredibly ceremonial and refined, created like a statement piece for those who already think the regular 92FS is too ordinary and industrial. The Fusion version is hand-built by the master gunsmiths of Beretta's premium department, better known for crafting luxury over-unders and exhibition-grade hunting shotguns. Every single pistol is assembled in a separate workshop, with parts polished, hand-fitted, engraved, and finished individually, like a collectible item, not a mass-produced firearm. The company only makes a very limited batch, each one coming with a hardwood presentation case and a metal plaque bearing the production number, along with the signature of company leadership. The reason the 92FS Fusion is so expensive comes from multiple layers. First is the completely manual process of fitting and finishing the gun instead of using industrial assembly lines. Second is the extremely small production number, which puts it closer to a commemorative or custom piece rather than a commercial handgun. And third is brand legacy. Beretta is one of the oldest firearms manufacturers in the world, and its premium division is known for craftsmanship that borders on artistry. On top of that, Fusion pistols often use refinements not found on the standard platform, like upgraded walnut grips, polished internals, carbon fiber accents, or custom laser-etched patterns. This blend of collectability, prestige, and actual shooting capability pushes its price into a range that surprises even seasoned firearms enthusiasts. All that information is openly mentioned in product details and specialized articles. So, is that price worth it? The answer depends on your perspective. If you're a collector or connoisseur, the Fusion is something you buy not to shoot at the range every weekend, but to display, preserve, or pass down. Some even consider it an heirloom gun, a firearm meant to be handed down for generations, not just used as a tool. In terms of advantages, the Fusion delivers an incredibly high level of finish. The shooting feel is smoother, the trigger pull is better refined, and the overall handling is more satisfying compared to a standard 92. It's also a conversation piece thanks to its collectability, limited production number, and aesthetic detailing. Everything from the display case to the signed plaque, from the carbon fiber grip to the laser engraving lines, reinforces the impression that this is not just a handgun, but a crafted object. The disadvantages are just as obvious. The price is high, which reduces practical usability and makes it a showpiece rather than an everyday gun. Maintenance and preservation become more meticulous. And if you only care about performance per dollar, there are many pistols that offer more value for actual use. The Fusion is for people who put artistic and finishing elements above utility. If you're the type of person who wants the feeling of, I own something unique that not everyone else can get, then the Fusion is aimed directly at you. It's a model for those willing to pay for art and reputation, not just bullets. 9. Arsenal Firearms AF 2011 A1. The first time you look at it, you immediately know this wasn't created for holsters or tactical carry. It's a mechanical statement, an example of engineering for the sake of engineering. The AF 2011 A1 is a double-barrel 1911 that's been reworked into a parallel twin-frame design. And structurally, it's literally two M1911 pistols fused together. 2 barrels, 2 trigger systems, 2 magazines combined into one base, and a synchronized slide mechanism so that when you pull the trigger, it can fire 2 rounds at the same time. This gun comes from the design table of Arsenal Firearms, originally an Italian company, and it was actually put into production in several versions, not just made as a one-off experiment. That means it's both an engineering curiosity and something you can really buy. if you've got the money and the paperwork. The price for an AF 2011 A1 varies quite a bit depending on the version. Listings from retailers and auction houses commonly show numbers from around $4,700 US up to more than $7,000 US for second-century models or the dueler prismatic versions with more elaborate finishing. Why does a gun cost that much? Part of it is the production cost of such a complicated frame. You're not just machining one slide and one barrel like usual, but precisely making two mirrored systems with tight tolerances to ensure both function in sync. That extra material, assembly time, and testing drives the cost up higher than a conventional handgun. On top of that, some AF 2011 variants are finished in polished stainless steel, fitted with high-end wood grips, or packaged with collectible cases and upgraded surface treatments, all of which adds cost. Finally, the one-of-a-kind factor and media exposure, the AF 2011 even appeared in major films like James Bond, push its collectible value higher. Buyers pay extra for the rarity and the story. Is it worth spending that kind of money? The answer depends entirely on your purpose. If you're looking for something to carry daily, train hard with, or use effectively for self-defense, the AF 2011 is not a smart choice. It's heavy, bulky, more expensive to maintain. And the spread when firing 2 rounds simultaneously can reduce accuracy for precise targets, meaning for performance per dollar. Many single-barrel pistols at the same price serve you way better. But if you're a collector, a showroom owner, or someone who wants to own an extremely rare and flashy design, the AF 2011 offers an experience few guns can match. Opening the box to reveal a mechanical oddity, feeling the heft of solid metal, and the visual shock that makes it the centerpiece of any display. Many reviewers describe it as a toy for the wealthy, or a technical art piece more than a practical weapon, not as praise or criticism, just stating its unique place in the market. The strengths of the AF 2011 lie in its collectible value and its wow factor, the unique design, its mechanical complexity, the way it stands out, and the ability to customize through variants like the dueler or the prismatic versions that add a ported slide, longer barrel, and premium decorative touches. For those who buy guns to display or for emotional value, it's something with a story built in. The downsides are obvious. The weight makes it impossible for carry. Real-world performance is limited compared to modern single-barrel pistols due to its unusual width and weight balance. The cost of ammunition and double magazines makes it expensive to run. And because it's an uncommon design, parts for repairs or replacements aren't widely available and rely on specialty sources. Many shooting tests show that 2 rounds fired together don't always land at the same point. So long-standing accuracy still belongs to single-barrel guns with optimized sight systems. In short, the AF 2011 A1 isn't made for everyone. It was created to impress, to show off mechanical skill, and to sit in a collector's cabinet rather than ride in an everyday holster. If you judge a gun by tactical performance or practical use, the money you spend on an AF 2011 seems hard to justify. But if you judge by emotion, uniqueness, and the joy of owning something your buddies don't have, then the AF 2011 can absolutely be worth it. It's an object you buy for the ownership experience more than for utility, and the price reflects that. Complicated production, premium materials and finishing, plus the collectible value inflated by rarity and pop culture. 8. Wilson Combat EDC X9. This isn't some run-of-the-mill 1911 copy slapped together. It's a modern take on a high-end compact platform that blends classic silhouette with contemporary engineering. The EDC X9 uses refined machining and part selection to give a crisp trigger and controllable recoil, and those details help explain the somewhat stout but springy feel when you operate it. The reference price for a new EDC X9, depending on configuration, tends to sit around. File shows an ellipsis here. Custom options and hand-built work push that perceived value and the asking price upward. As for whether it's worth it, again, that depends on what you want. For everyday carry and practical use, the EDC X9 gives a rare combination, 9mm capability in a platform that feels premium and precise. On the downside, Higher price, more exacting maintenance, and possible compromises in holster compatibility or concealability are factors. Plus, some owners mention sharper muzzle flip compared to lighter polymer designs, which can send the shot impulse back toward the shooter and increase overall length-cache weight. In terms of strengths, the EDC X9 delivers a package that's accurate out of the box, with a refined trigger and premium fit and finish that you don't usually get from mass-market pistols. The cons are predictable: the higher cost, potentially limited parts availability depending on your region, and runs-of-the-mill value for pure performance per dollar, meaning there are cheaper pistols that will shoot well. Warranty and dealer support can affect total ownership cost and perceived value. If you're considering one, ask yourself what your goal is. If you're after a premium feel, hand-fitted tolerances, and a modern take on a classic, it can absolutely be worth the money. 7. Staccato XL. When the arena lights hit it, the XL shows up like ellipsis, a competition-ready machine that few off-the-shelf pistols can match in raw capability. The starting price for the XL on the official market usually sits around ellipsis. Custom options and hand-tuning push that number into ranges where the small details of fit and finish are essentially hand-worked to the point they're no longer mass-produced. So what pushes the XL's price, both stock and custom, so high? Ellipsis. Precision machining on the slide and barrel, match-grade hand-fitting of barrel to slide and slide to frame, upgraded barrels, tuned recoil systems, premium triggers, stippled and contoured grips cut to exacting specs, and the level of post-production adjustment, all of these add labor hours and cost. Add custom work like slide lightning cuts, porting, custom Cerakote or PVD treatments, and it becomes a workshop project rather than an assembly line pistol. For competition shooters, those extra hours of setup and bespoke tuning translate directly into repeatable performance and split-time savings that few factory guns can mimic without similar attention. The clear advantages: the XL delivers recoil stability, reduced muzzle flip, and shot-to-shot recovery that make it a competitive edge on the range. The trigger and controls are refined for split-second inputs. And overall, it's a purpose-built race gun that can be personalized to the shooter's style. The downsides are equally obvious: high cost, weight and size that reduce practicality for everyday carry, and a price-to-performance ratio that's hard to justify for anyone who isn't competing or who doesn't value those last fractions of a second. Maintenance and parts done upkeep can also be more demanding, and resale depends heavily on the gun's configuration and the market at the time. Is the Staccato XL worth it? If your definition of worth is based on competition results, personalized performance, and owning something built for the job, then yes. The combination of craftsmanship and brand reputation can absolutely justify the price. If you're buying for everyday use or looking strictly for bang-for-buck performance on the street, the expense is harder to defend. 6. Cabot guns, the icon. When you talk about the 1911 at the absolute peak of craftsmanship, this is the name that keeps coming up. The icon blends modern CNC, that is, computer numerical control, manufacturing precision with old-world hand finishing, and the result is a pistol that reads more like a small mechanical sculpture than a mass-produced service firearm. Every surface is sorted and refined. Tolerances are tightened by hand after machining, and customers can choose from multiple caliber options, barrel lengths, and finishing choices. So, what creates that eye-watering price? First, Cabot's reputation. Rarity plus workmanship plus premium materials equals high cost. Second, the degree of handwork, not just a final polish, but time spent fitting parts, hand-shaping controls, and often using upgrades like premium wood grips or special metal treatments. Third, the customization and limited production runs that turn each gun into something closer to a bespoke item than a factory model. Is the money worth it? The answer splits two ways. If you're buying purely for practical use, there are cheaper guns that will do the job just as well. If you're buying for collection, prestige, or as an investment, Cabot's track record shows there's a market of people willing to pay for uniqueness. On the purely technical side, the Icon and other Cabot 1911s offer an elevated shooting experience, smoother operation, a refined trigger, and fit and finish that make ownership feel special. The downsides are straightforward and practical. The high upfront cost, the need for careful maintenance and storage, and the fact that resale depends heavily on market demand and the individual gun's uniqueness. In short, Cabot's the icon is worth it for collectors and connoisseurs who value exclusivity and craftsmanship. For someone seeking a simple, everyday pistol, it's an expensive statement piece more than a necessity. 5. Korth PRS. When you put your hand on a Korth, the way it feels is completely different from regular factory pistols. It's solid, precise, and every surface has clearly been checked, hand-fitted, and fine-tuned piece by piece before it ever leaves the workshop. What makes the Korth PRS expensive isn't just the stamp that says "Made in Germany." The company doesn't chase mass production or cheap labor. They build in very small numbers with a lot of handwork and extremely tight tolerances, and that automatically drives the price per unit way up. So, is the PRS worth the money? The answer totally depends on what you're looking for. If you want something you can train with, shoot accurately, and enjoy without having to send it off for upgrades or gunsmithing, then yes. It shoots precisely and smoothly right out of the box without needing much rework. The strengths of the PRS come from its machining quality, its high accuracy, and the way every part locks up tightly and consistently. The downside is that owning one isn't like buying a polymer pistol. You have to treat it like a high-end mechanical instrument. That means proper maintenance, careful ammo selection, and a bit of knowledge if you want it to run perfectly. In short, the Korth PRS isn't made to solve every shooter's needs. It's not built for people who just want a basic handgun. It's aimed at serious collectors, precision shooters, or anyone extremely picky about performance, fit, and craftsmanship. 4. SIG Sauer P210 Legend Target. Putting your hand on a P210 Legend Target feels like touching a piece of precision machinery rather than a mass-produced pistol. The ergonomics are classic and deliberate. The grip-to-frame relationship, the smoothness of the trigger, the tight lockup between barrel and slide, all of that combines into a shooting experience that target shooters crave. This model carries forward the P210's long reputation for mechanical purity and accuracy, but updated with modern production tolerances and quality control so you get reliable performance without losing that old-school feel. In terms of price, the P210 Legend Target sits in a premium segment, more expensive than common 9mm service pistols, but usually not as costly as bespoke European hand-built pieces. The manufacturer's suggested retail price often reflects the level of machining and finishing. You're paying for a design that prioritizes mechanical refinement and a trigger that breaks cleanly, not for flashy cosmetics or mass-market economies of scale. So, why does the P210 cost more than some run-of-the-mill 9mm pistols? The answer is in the details: tighter tolerances, more careful fitting, the classic P210 action geometry that favors accuracy, and materials and finishing choices that favor stable, repeatable performance. The result is a different handling and shooting experience compared to polymer frame pistols made for quantity and low cost. Is the P210 worth the money? If your priority is defensive carry or you need the cheapest, most modular pistol for everyday use, there are more economical and lighter options. But if you care about target shooting, precision, and a tactile experience that rewards attention to detail, then the P210 can absolutely be worth it. For people who value that kind of feel and consistency, the P210 delivers a rare combination of accuracy and mechanical elegance. The standout strengths of the P210 are its out-of-the-box accuracy, the refined trigger, and consistently tight fit and finish that give a confident shooting platform. On the downside, compared with many modern service pistols, it can be heavier and less forgiving of cheap ammunition, and warranty parts or aftermarket support may vary depending on your region. It's also not built to be the lightest or cheapest option for everyday concealed carry. In short, the SIG Sauer P210 Legend Target is a choice for shooters who prioritize precision and mechanical quality. It's not the best pick for someone whose sole criteria is low cost or minimal carry weight. But for target aficionados and those who appreciate a finely made pistol, it's a model that rewards investment with a rare shooting experience in the world of modern handguns. 3. Laugo Arms Alien. The first time you hold the Alien, it doesn't feel like you're wrestling with recoil so much as you're controlling a thrust. Like you're piloting a tiny jet instead of pushing back against a kick. That's the feeling the design delivers. Extremely low muzzle rise, instant follow-up shots, and a balance that makes rapid strings feel more like flow than fight. From an engineering standpoint, the Alien uses a fixed barrel with an internal recoil management system that channels energy differently from conventional tilting barrel designs. The low bore axis and the way the slide and operating components are arranged reduce muzzle flip dramatically. The upper assembly is basically a modular top end you can swap for different configs, which makes the Alien look and act like a legitimately modular speed shooting platform. Talking price, the Alien showed up on the market with a premium tag aimed at competitors and serious tinkerers who want a pistol they can quickly reconfigure. Depending on the exact version, options, and whether you're buying a limited batch or an upgraded kit, the price can be well above typical service pistols. You're paying for the engineering, the novelty of the mechanism, and the potential for competition-ready out-of-the-box performance. So, is the Alien worth that money? That depends on what you want it for. If your goal is fast, controlled strings of fire, and a pistol that rewards practice with measurable gains in split times, then yes, the Alien's value shows up exactly there. If you just need a reliable, inexpensive carry piece or a do-everything handgun, then the premium is harder to justify. Strengths come from its engineering. The low bore axis reduces muzzle flip, in a way many standard pistols can only reach after heavy tuning. The modular top end and attention to balance make it a natural for speed shooting. The downsides are practical. The unconventional design can complicate holster choices and concealment. Spare parts and specialized service may be harder to find, and legal or import paperwork in some countries can add to the real cost of ownership. In short, the Alien is a choice for people willing to pay for engineering and competitive edge. If you want a unique platform that performs differently and you don't mind the extra expense, it can be a brilliant investment. If you want simplicity, cheap running costs, and ease of maintenance, the Alien is probably more of a niche luxury than a practical everyday pistol. 2. Cabot guns, Black Diamond. The moment you look at it, you'll understand this is K. You can feel how the metal and fit of the controls match your hand. The manufacturer usually offers long barrel configurations. You don't hear any mechanical noise when you slowly rack the slide. No tick, no rattle, just the kind of quiet movement that says every surface has been checked and fitted. Some shooters describe the feel of holding a Black Diamond like holding... So there's no, take this frame, slap on that grip, and ship it out approach here. In terms of price, the Cabot Black Diamond commonly ranges around $6,500 US. Yet, it shows zero play or wiggle while still delivering reliable performance when firing live ammunition. The advantages of the Black Diamond lie in its smoothness, stable shooting feel, V. It's not a cheap do-everything tool, but rather a shootable metal artwork. The downsides come from the very things that make it stand out. The high price? You can buy something that performs similarly at the range for half the price. So, is the Black Diamond worth that money for serious collectors who value top-tier craftsmanship and that level of finish? The Black Diamond is practically iconic. 1. Staccato XC. When you pick up the XC, you immediately get the sense you're holding something built for speed and absolute control. It gives you that flat feeling on the trigger, and follow-up shots feel almost instant. The design is tuned so the pistol wants to stay on target rather than climb. The listed price for the XC sits in the premium tier of 9mm pistols. It's well above common polymer service pistols, and into the territory where specialized machining, tighter tolerances, and more handwork noticeably increase production cost. So, what makes the XC worth that money? First and foremost, it's about performance proven at the highest levels. Precision parts, tuned recoil systems, match-grade barrels, and the geometry that lets the pistol track and return to target faster than typical stock designs. Buying an XC is buying that out-of-the-box performance, something competitors and advanced shooters prize because it saves time and gunsmithing later. That said, worth doesn't mean it's right for everyone. If you move from a lightweight polymer platform to a 2011 style metal race gun, You trade off some everyday practicality, weight, size, and the learning curve to get the absolute most from it. For many people, a conventional pistol will be lighter, simpler to carry, and cheaper to run. The XC's advantages are clear: flat shooting, rapid split times, and a platform that can be tuned and customized to a shooter's needs. The disadvantages are equally obvious: a high purchase price, the need for proper setup and maintenance, potentially higher ammunition and accessory costs, and reduced carry practicality compared with compact, cheaper pistols. In short, the Staccato XC is one of the clearest examples of a modern, performance-first handgun. It delivers real competitive advantage and feels like a purpose-built tool. For competitors or shooters who value those last fractions of a second, it can be worth the investment. For someone looking for a simple, inexpensive do-everything pistol, the XC is probably overkill. So in the end, whether you're holding one of these pistols to shoot, to collect, or simply to admire, the value isn't just in metal and mechanics, it's in everything behind it. The hands that built it, the name attached to it, the rarity that keeps it out of reach for most people, and the story each piece carries. Some are made to perform on the range, some are created to be passed down, and some exist purely to prove what craftsmanship and money can do when nothing is mass-produced or rushed. Not everyone will agree they're worth it, but that's the point. These guns aren't made for everyone. If you followed the list to this point, you already understand. Luxury in firearms isn't about gold plating or bragging rights. It's about precision, legacy, scarcity, and the pride of owning something almost nobody else can. And in the world of 9mm pistols, that's the difference between just owning a gun and owning a statement.